morning, everyone, and welcome to the Think Future podcast. I'm your host, Cal Bucas, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. Those who don't think about the future are doomed to repeat the past. So one of the things that I mentioned earlier in one of my shows is safety. Safety. We are all so concerned with safety. I think if someone says be safe to me again, whether it's in an email or they talk to me about it or they say be safe or something like that, I'm just going to scream. I'm just going to scream. Somebody should put together a bunch of clips of people screaming when people say be safe. Because if you ask me, life is not safe. Life, period, is not safe. Living is not safe. It's not safe to live. So telling somebody to be safe, especially if they're an adult, is like telling them they're stupid. But I digress. So let's think back to the beginning of the 20th century, when people were trying to learn how to fly, when people were trying to build automobiles, when people were taking risks to try and create these transportation vehicles that can now allow us to encircle the earth. You wouldn't have globalism if it weren't for people taking great risks. Great risks equal great rewards. You cannot get great rewards without great risks. And now we are sitting in a cocoon of safety. And all we seem to care about is safety. And all we seem to do is think about safety, safety, and safety. It's almost an ism. It's safetyism, right? All we ever think about is being safe, being cocooned against the vagaries of life. But we can't survive like that. I mean, I think it's creating a whole new generation of introverts who are afraid to go out, who are afraid to do anything. I mean, I think I mentioned before that here I am in Silicon Valley. This is Silicon Valley. This is supposedly the most innovative place on the planet. And you still see almost everybody wearing masks. You still see almost everybody fretting about the Delta variant. And whether or not you believe in the vaccines, the virus, or whatever, it still gives you an example of what the culture has turned into. And this is not just a culture of here. It's a culture that's all across America. All across America. We've seen this new culture of safetyism basically infect everybody. Great rewards require great risks. We must be able to take even small risks to get some reward. No pain, no gain. It is a truism of the world. If you do not step out of your comfort zone, if you do not do something that is supposedly unsafe, then you will not progress. You will not move forward. We cannot build innovative products and services and dent the universe if we're sitting in our cars wearing a mask alone. Okay? It's simply not possible. How far we've fallen, huh? How far we've fallen from the days when we used to risk our lives for human progress. We used to risk our lives to help the human race improve. And now we are so afraid to even step out of the door without something covering our face. I mean, what's happened? I mean, I talked to this to a friend of mine the other day, and he said, well, there's always going to be those crazies on the edge who are doing the risky stuff. But if you ask me, there's plenty of people sort of in the middle. Sure, there's crazies on the edge that are doing risky stuff, and but there's people in the middle who did have the propensity to take a risk, and now they're afraid to. They're afraid to take risks because this balloon culture has encompassed us. So we need to do something about safetyism. We need to say to ourselves, listen, we need to take risks. If we cannot take risks, then we cannot have great rewards. So we need to figure out some way around this. We need to be able to go back to a time when risk-taking was a good thing, because if we don't take risks, we will not progress. This is why innovation seems to have ground to a halt. Risk-taking is required. in innovation. Risk-taking is required in disruption. Risk-taking is required for us to move the human race forward and find answers to our problems. If we don't take a risk, we will never solve anything.